Hey, and welcome to a special edition of Soaring Profits Live. We have a wonderful young lady called Raquel Borras, and we heard, has a huge event on November 4th called Raq The Boat. It affects mental health, it affects children, all of the things that we love to promote at Soaring Profits. So Raquel, why don't you give us a little pitch about what the Raq The Boat is, when it's happening, and what's going on during it?
Well, hi, gentlemen. Thanks for having me on. So what started out as a YouTube channel, a show where I was having conversations with our youth, kids of all ages all around the world, is now coming to life. So this is my inaugural live event where I actually want to bring the kids in. But in this case, I wanted to limit it to teens, 13 to 17, because I feel that our teens are really the ones that are very impressionable and could really use this type of event. Because us adults, we tend to see a lot of the Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk's, all those motivational speakers go out and do these events. We actually have one going on right now in San Diego called Aspire, and it's just to pump, the adults up and get them to, be successful in life. And I thought if we could start out with these kids when they're younger, I think that we would be helping our entire world and humanity by doing that with our kids and helping empower them. And also, with the empowerment piece comes mental health and that self-awareness and that confidence and building your self-esteem, because we all know that lends to mental health issues along down the road. That's happened to me. So coming from experience of knowing when you're especially a teen and you don't feel seen, heard, or valued, that can really affect the way you view yourself and whether you're worthy or not. And so that's really what this event is all about, is bringing these teens in, having motivational speakers from all around the country. I even have someone speaking on financial literacy, doing activities like vision boards, just to really get them feeling like they're worthy, that we care, and that we want to empower them so they can walk away feeling inspired and motivated themselves to kind of, do better and hopefully change the world.
Well, I love that, Raquel. And so where did Raq The Boat start from? You had said that it was kind of a project you've been working on for years now. When you Google Raquel Borras, you are just a page after page after page type of SEO link. Like, your marketing people must be all over this. So when you first started, you jumped into your marketing firm. I'm sure you got all the people, right? So when you first started this, this is the inaugural live event. I know that you've been chasing COVID, and are we allowed to say that? I'm not even sure we're allowed to say that. Last 2 years, 3 years. But why was this the avenue that you wanted to go down? And how did you start? Where did you come from, and why now?
Well, I already had a huge following and visibility on LinkedIn, the platform, and I was already speaking on behalf of mental health just because I shared my story. And then I was also a personal brand strategist. So people jumping on the platform wanted to hear what I had to say as far as personal branding and mental health. So I started speaking globally on all these live streams and podcasts, and everyone kept telling me, gosh, you're such a great guest. You should be a host. And I thought, okay, well, that's really flattering that I should be a host. But you know what? I don't like to follow the herd, if you will. I like to go against the grain. And I thought I got to do something different than nobody else is doing. Because as soon as everybody's doing something, I'm like, run the other direction. And so I thought, you know what? I have always loved kids. I thought I was going to be a teacher growing up. I did work with special ed kids when I first moved to Virginia in the public school system, and I loved it. And I'm a mother of a 22 and 19-year-old, and I'm a kid myself. I still act like one. And I thought, you know what? Kids do well with me in the sense that I do a good job of getting words out of them. And so I thought, you know what? Why don't I just start a YouTube channel where I'm actually talking to kids? And it happened to be during COVID. And I thought already they're suffering, just with social media and just the competition and just the comparison and all of those things, the same thing that we suffer as adults. But I can only imagine it's just on a whole different level as kids. And then you add COVID on top of it, and they're not with their peers. They're not going to school. There's that isolation piece where they're missing out on human connection. And as adults, we've had enough experience with the human connection and social skills that a lot of us could cope. But I felt like a lot of these kids didn't know how to cope. So I thought, you know what, if I can give them a voice and a platform where they can just talk and just share anything. I mean, the conversations range from Minecraft all the way to like actual mental health. And it was just amazing. I have 70 episodes uploaded, and I just was learning so much from our youth and from these conversations that I thought, this is it. Like, I need to continue my focus on our youth. Like, I need to like champion our youth and teens, because I feel like I have a superpower when it comes to that. Like, these kids, I realized, were really open with me. And to this day, there are several kids that I spoke with that I still have a relationship with, and they still look up to me, and I've helped them in so many ways. And I thought, gosh, if you can help one kid, imagine, like, so that's how it all started.
I think that's incredible. Like the whole idea of you talking to kids during a time where isolation. I know myself, I suffered from mental health for most of my life, and I know other people, and three pillars that are important for mental health. One is community, being part of something, having people to talk to, share your stories. One is being seen, because if you're not seen, you feel very isolated. And the last is being able to share your story and have it heard on a real level, for someone to actually take it and understand it and be able to share stories with other people and hear their stories, to feel that, you know, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And you do all that. Right below me here is the QR code to get to her Instagram, if you'd like to check it out. There's lots of videos there. There also is an interesting video that's pretty exciting and very integral to November 4th. Now, running an event this size and having all these special speakers costs money. And on your Instagram, you have this lovely little video about a GoFundMe. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, what you need, and how people can help?
Well, first of all, this event is free, and it will always be free, because this is going to be the first of, I hope, very many. And I never want to have to charge anybody for attending. So because it's free, the first thing that I had to pay out of pocket was the venue, because I did want like a really cool, fun, very positive, vibey venue. And I found one. And so that, you know, costs money. And I do want to provide breakfast and lunch for these kids, because it is an all-day affair and we got to feed them. We know we don't want anyone hangry. We know what happens when people get hangry. And then I want to have like really cool swag bags. Like, I already had someone donate journals, because I want them to be able to take notes during the event, and then take these journals home and do what they will with them. And so, yeah, it costs money to do all of this. Yeah. So I'm not asking for much. I'm just asking for enough, because let's be honest, you know, these teens need to be drawn in too. So if I can give them some free things, and also just even the art projects, those I have to kind of buy the supplies. I'm very blessed that everybody that's speaking at this event, even my sister who's DJing, everybody's doing it. They're all volunteering. Nobody has said, I will only speak if I get paid for it. No. And some of these are highly paid speakers, but they just really believe in the mission. They really want to give back. I have one speaker in particular that's flying in from Alabama. I've never actually met her. We're connected through LinkedIn, and she's going to be sharing her story for the first time. She's never shared it. And she's a private investigator, cybersecurity, really cool, badass chick. And she's flying in, and I think it's her birthday weekend. So that just goes to show you like how many people want to be able to give back and empower our youth. Like, it's amazing how many adults are out there that really want to help bridge this generational gap. Because I think that's what's really important too, is bridging the gap, is having our youth understand that not all of us adults think that they're lazy or entitled, or, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like we have this narrative around our youth, and we label them in a way where I don't think it's fair. I think we have to hold ourselves accountable for that as well, because we're the ones putting the technology out there. We're the ones that are putting an iPad in front of their face when we want them to like leave us alone, and we want to watch our favorite show. I mean, let's be real.
We're also in charge of controlling media messaging, and, you know, allowing them to be influenced by negative commercials and TV and what we let them watch and consume really does have an effect on their mental health and their self-image. So absolutely.
Yeah.
So
not just like having them watch it. Sorry, not just like monitoring it, but having a conversation around it. Because believe me, my kids are very mature for their age, and they were watching things that I probably wouldn't really want them to watch if it were up to me. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, well, then this gives me the opportunity to open up the conversation and then have me be the first one to talk about those really difficult, uncomfortable conversations. I rather them have it with me or my ex-husband than with a total stranger, or just Google it. So I think that's another thing too, is that, you know, we also have to kind of be willing to put in the work.
Right. Well, and it looks like, Raquel, you know, you have this energy, you exude this. We've kind of known you for a short, brief period of time, and you are this lightning rod. You are this fireball of energy, and you can see where kids, like especially teenagers, would just bite into that and love what you're doing and that passion and that emphasis. And one of the things is that, like, so I've got a 14-year-old daughter, and for myself is that she always gives me that kind of like, oh, dad, like, okay, you're too much right now. Like, hold your horses there, brother. Like, just relax a little bit. But those conversations, exactly what you're saying about, it sounds like you're fostering these opportunities for people to go home and have those conversations within their homes with their parents that maybe their parents aren't necessarily super comfortable with. And as a community and as a society, we should be having these conversations with our children. Have you had any experiences where people have kind of given you some feedback in regards to how your piece, the kids that you've talked with, like what kind of feedback are they giving you in regards to after your conversations, your program, that sort of thing? What are people saying back to you?
Well, I have to say what surprised me is a lot of what the parents had to say of the kids, that because what happens is when I would have these kids on, most of the time the parent would not be in the room.
Right.
And I can't tell you how many times the parent was already kind of prepping me in a way of like, oh, good luck getting my kid to talk because they're really shy, or good luck getting my kid to sit still because they have ADD. So already they were like, you know, saying things, and it was like the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And so when I would send them the video, because before I would post anything, obviously I would have them watch it, sign off on it, and it would surprise them. And that's what I loved, is that they got to see their kid in a way that they usually don't get to see, because, you know, usually our kids, they interact a certain way with their parent and different with somebody that they don't know. So getting them to see that for the first time, they were so proud. Like every single parent was so proud of their kid, because every kid was like super attentive. They were carrying the conversation. And that part of it for me was like giving a gift to them. And not only that, I think a lot of these kids after the conversation were so excited to share their conversation that they were like, thank you for having me like have a conversation with my own kid about your conversation. You know, like they loved that their kid wanted to talk about it. So that to me was like the best feedback. And then as far as just adults in general, a lot of the clips they would see, they were shocked at how like self-aware and how mature a lot of these kids are, and how they really are trying to do better and change the world. So once again, it's changing the narrative that not all kids feel like they're entitled or lazy or just, you know, are on their phones all day long. I had a 14-year-old who didn't have social media, didn't even have a phone.
Yeah. No, I think it's so interesting because the space that you're going into, I would say, so I am a millennial. Yes, I am an old millennial, but I am a millennial. I firmly believe that us millennials are the worst. Like I look around my friends, my buddies, that sort of thing. We're the worst. There's nothing worse than a millennial, especially an entitled millennial. Right?
I can totally agree. There's nothing worse than that.
That's right.
Oh wait, no. I meant millennial. Pat, I did.
Millennials. But so my situation, when I look around at this next generation at their competence level, like they really are competent when given tasks. Like I look at my daughter and like there's so many situations where I look at her and I go, I would have told you to F off a long time ago. I wouldn't have done this. I wouldn't have done the assignment. I would have talked my way out of this. This is something. And she's like pounding, putting extra effort in, that extra workload. And I think it's because we went through the trophy generation where everybody's a winner. And these kids were told by their parents, you're not going to be a winner. You got to hustle. this new generation. I'm going to say
They
from
saw the backlash of telling everyone they were a winner. It's like an extreme, right?
Absolutely. So there really is a dynamic in this generation that I think is pivoting. We're all going to be computer programmers, I think, because that face-to-face is tricky. Like they're dialing that in. And when you lost 2 and 3 years of that communication, that again, Raquel, I think what you're doing is fantastic. You're giving these people a platform to get out in front of people and talk and express themselves and grow. I love what you're doing. If you ever need a guest, I got one that I can probably pull out of the basement here and maybe get you. So we'll go from there.
So can you tell us a little bit about the guests you're having on, like what they're talking about, how they're and where's the event happening? When's the event happening? And a couple of the guests.
Okay, so this is what's really cool. The event is Saturday, November 4th here in San Diego, California / United States of America, since you're in Canada. I got to add the US. And
is that near Manitoba?
Just on the other side.
I think it's near Moose Jaw.
It's probably right beside the Moose
I've never
Jaw.
heard of any of those places, so I have no clue what you're talking about.
We are just America's hat. That is it.
Yes.
We are the hat. Yeah.
The tinfoil
and Mexico
hat,
is
really.
America's bottom. Yes, sorry,
yes.
But yeah,
Boot.
I'm half Mexican, so I'm like.
And now we are canceled. Thank you very much. It's been good knowing all of you. I appreciate you.
My mom's Mexican. I grew up cultural bilingual. So, but the event, I actually would like it to go global. I do believe that this is something that could be done in any country all around the world. And what's really cool is Eris, who has been my guest 5 times now on Raq The Boat. He's on the spectrum. He's neurodivergent, brilliant kid. He's just turned 14 and he's already been accepted to medical pre-med at University of Washington.
Jeez.
Wow.
Well, the cool thing about him is that we've met several times. He and his dad are flying down from Washington State to support. And his dad attributes a lot of his just social skills and him wanting to be able to public speak and put himself out there. He attributes it to me and the show just because of what I've been able to do with Eris and just our conversations and just having those social skills. And so because they feel so kind of indebted to what I've done, they're flying down for the event. And then I have another guest who he actually doesn't know that he's coming. So yeah, what's interesting.
Ma'am, that's called kidnapping.
That's not good.
So Pepper is a very special guest. Now, Pepper started out as Natasha on my show, and then Pepper, and now it's Pepper, but so they are now he. And what's really interesting about this particular guest is that his mom is surprising him because she has told me how much I've meant to Pepper. And I've met Pepper twice, but I've never met the mother. That's what's so crazy is I've met Pepper twice. I've taken him out to lunch. And so we have created a special bond. But what he doesn't know is he's not only coming out, but we're hoping to surprise him with a particular grant. And I won't go into detail, but we're hoping to do something special for him. And so that's what's really cool. And then for instance, another guest of mine, Theo, they are huge on TikTok because they believe in what I've done and been on my show. They offered to do a TikTok. I don't know if you guys saw it, where they do cosplay. And so it was really cool that they did this thing just to promote. And they themselves were like, you've done a lot and you've really helped me. And they even went as far to say that they wouldn't be where they're at if it weren't for my encouragement and kindness. And so it's it's humbling because you don't really realize the impact that you're having on someone until things like this happen where you're like, whoa, this is so freaking cool. And so that makes me think if I can have that type of impact on a small group of kids, imagine not just myself, because now I'm trying to, have more people come in, but how all of us can have that type of impact on these kids. So that's why I decided to go live and bring in more different adults to come in and share their stories and to help them and empower them and maybe even mentor and be guides to them too, because I feel like mentorship's really important. And everybody that's involved with this day knows that they might walk away with a mentee.
I
They've
think
also
that
kind of agreed to be a mentor if need be.
yeah, I think you're amazing. I love what you're doing. I just
Thank
kind of
you.
caught on to you about a month ago. Then we connected, and I had to have you on the show. We were gonna have you on the show like later this year, but when I found out what you were doing on November 4th, I love it. I think it's so important to our world. Couple of cool things, like if you feel like you've seen this and you're excited about what she's doing, helping children, which is our future, and we really need to get behind it. Check out her QR code here, scan it on her Instagram as a way to go fund her. But you probably also could DM her and tell her that you want to maybe throw her some products to go in gift bags, etc. The cool thing about that, as I've been watching her, when she gets something from a business, she shouts out to the business, shows the product, and does a little talk about them. So you might want to get interested about that because she has quite a few followers that could help you out as well. Raquel, I think you're awesome. I love what you're doing. You're gonna do big things. I can't wait till this comes to Canada so that we can help the children of Canada, because you know what? There are so many people hurting, especially after COVID. Pat, what are you thinking?
Wow. So just a little aside with Miss Borras here is that she's one of our business bets and buddies fantasy football participants.
Who knew? I love football. Super competitive.
I didn't want to get to this level, but it was a really close fought battle when we played you.
Here we go.
I think as a couple Canadians participating in a fantasy football and then beating you so badly.
Right.
I appreciate you coming on the show. Like there's
I have like an injury on my starting lineup or something. Because
it doesn't matter why.
Raquel, we are equal opportunity people. We give anyone the opportunity to come on the show. I just appreciate you taking it up for us. But I'm just playing with you, my dear. This profiteers out there, this is the type of thing that we're trying to get behind and promote. We've got little things in the works all the time where we're trying to promote really fantastic people, really fantastic events. And Miss Borras is no different. Get in touch with her, get some money to her, help some kids that definitely need it. And you're spreading that awareness. You're really getting out there. Yeah. She dropped the dollar bills. Right.
Dollar bills. Dollar bills.
In Canada, it's loonies. You'd end up with a black eye. It'd be terrible. But
speaking of black eyes, check her Instagram.
I already have a black eye. Thank you very much.
There you go. We will leave that till the next time. Raquel, send us out on a high note. Give us some motivation on your way out, and we'll wind it up. From me, folks, let's make some money together.
Just rock the boat, everyone. Like, do good, be kind. Just let's help humanity here.